How badly out of shape were you before you realized, okay, I gotta get my shit together? This time last year I was 406 pounds. Mobility was becoming a laborious act. Simple things like tying shoes would feel like a struggle. I got out of breath easily. Said fuck it. Started dieting and going to the gym at the beginning of December. As of this past Sunday, I weighed in at 303 pounds. A total of 103 pounds gone in 9 months. The hardest part of it all was simply getting started. I've 50 pounds left to reach my weight goal of 250 pounds. We fucking got this. I had a lot of lower back pain while waking up and I thought, if this is 31, what's 41, 51, 61 going to look like? So I started working out, focusing on my posterior chain and abdominal muscles. And I'm happy to report the low back pain has subsided substantially. It's not perfect but much better overall. I've taken so many pictures while telling myself I'm going to start getting in shape, so basically I have a slideshow of me getting more fat. The pants I bought to tied myself over until I lose weight eventually became uncomfortably tight. I started looking off in my clothes. It used to be effortless to just pull something from my closet and still look good. My clothes are a little bit on the spendy side, and the thought of having to replace them all, and the stress of having to figure out how to dress well for my new body just did not sit well with me. It was easier and cheaper for me to quit soda and some sweets. 490 pounds, heart attack survivor, quietly waiting to die. Then I had surgery, dropped 220 pounds, and here we are. I'm not fat, but I saw my parents degrade in health and noticed all they did was sit and watch TV. And eat takeout. Wife and kids and I started hiking every weekend and walking 4 miles a day if possible. Took up running and went from dying after 100 yards, to running 3 miles in 25 miles. It's not much but that was my wake-up call. Dad died in December of 24 and at the same time I was going through the tail end of a really horrible relationship. I've always worn oversized, baggy clothes so I didn't really pay attention to what was going on. Went in for an annual physical, weighed 315 which was the heaviest I'd ever been. I was stress eating and neglecting everything about myself down to 265-ish currently since February, which is the weight I typically carry around and would like to lose another 30 pounds or so. 560 pounds. Had a hard time going any significant distance in my mid-20s. Realized that was stupid. Down to 400 pounds now. Long way to go, but already much better. I'm 6 feet 4 inches so that helps. When clothes I've owned for literally over a decade were, suddenly, way too tight. If I have to change clothes sizes it definitely won't be to go up a size. Later realized I was about to enter level 3 obesity and that felt like I caught myself before falling off a cliff. Down 80 pounds. 15 to go. 250 something. Got into a fight with an inmate where my body literally didn't do anything that it should and would have done if I was in shape. I said to myself, I'm never letting that happen again. Been working out since then. Started strength training. Started judo. I'm still 250 but I am a different composition of it now. 320 pounds, size 26/28 US. I was sedentary, ate like shit, and everything was fucking exhausting. I knew a big diet, exercise change would fail so I made small changes I could tolerate 1 or 2 at a time. It took a decade but it made all the difference. That time was going to pass whether or not I made any changes to how I was living so I wasn't in a hurry. It would take as long as it took. Currently 170 pounds, size 8 US. I go to the gym regularly for strength training, work in my garden, go hiking pretty regularly, cycling, kayaking less often. I still eat like shit sometimes but in moderation. Like, I have dessert every day, just no longer all day. It was after a typical winter, which I'd spent mostly sedentary, as I usually did. I went out to mow the lawn for the first time of the year. And literally couldn't finish. I ran out of stamina, energy before I could finish. I was spent. This was a revelation. Nothing like that had ever happened to me before. It made me understand that regular exercise at this point in my life was no longer about vanity, which it always had been before, and was now all about quality of life and keeping oneself from calcifying in old age. I'm still not as active as I'd like, but I'm much better than I was. No problems mowing the lawn anymore. 160 pounds but I couldn't run to save my life. Literally there were gunshots in a crowd and I couldn't run for more than 20 seconds. People were getting trampled by the crowd around me. I barely made it, but I realized something had to change. Imagine dying because I had to take a quick walking break in the middle of a shootout. When I looked like a busted biscuit can in the dress I had altered and ready for my daughter's wedding. Now my son is getting married and my pride won't let my ex-hole see me that out of shape again. I never see him and I was always the fitness freak.